Okay, we've got another 8-ball match. Jason from My Bad, skill level 6, versus Pedro from Pool Party, skill level 3. Pedro is relatively new to the APA, relatively new to league play. I believe we just started last session. Jason has been playing for a few years now, for sure. He's going to get the lag, and Pedro's going to have to rack him up. Nice break, good spread. 2-ball goes into the lower left corner, unfortunately out of the frame, but it did drop. Definitely be trying to get a better camera angle for the next time we're recording at Mad Hippo. 4-ball doesn't go in for Jason, so Pedro's going to come to the table. He's going to be shooting stripes. A couple shots you can make here. If I were the one up at the table, I'd be going for either the 11 or the 14, possibly the 15 all the way up in the corner. Looks like he's choosing to go for the 14, probably in the side. Just judges the angle just a little bit. Bounces back out. Jason gets the 3 into the side pocket. Got a few options here on the table. Looks like he's going to go for the 1 in the corner. Goes ahead and puts that in. Don't think he wanted to be up against the 10 there. Looks like he's going to take a shot at the 7 for just a defensive shot. Legal hit, but not really an attempt to put that 7 anywhere. Brings Pedro back up to the table. Again, with a number of options here for Pedro, 15, 12, 11 possibly. Goes for the 12. Kisses off of the 8 and thankfully does not put it up into the corner. Would have been a real quick rack. Going for the 9 into the side. Again, hitting the corner of the pocket. Not quite correct angle for that shot. He's chasing back up the table. Could either go for the 5 in the side at the top of the frame or 7-4 combo from the looks of things. Looks like maybe he's going for the 6. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the angle on that. Bring Pedro back up. Pedro goes for the 10. Doesn't make it on that long shot. Does get the 13 a little bit further off of the rail. Gives Jason the 7-4 combo. He puts in easily. So got the 10 a little bit in his way for the 6. Gonna go and finish up the 7. Looks like the 10's still a little bit in the way for this shot on the 6. Don't think he can get by the 15 for the 5. It looks like he's going to try for the 6. Fortunately, collides with the 10. It's going to give ball in hand to Pedro. Pedro's going to go for the 13 on this ball in hand. I might go for the 14 because it's a little busier over there. The 13 is a little more open, but manages the 13. Lines up on the 10 for his next shot. Manages that shot as well. Good shot on the 9 here. No problem. Good speed control, but give him a shot on the 14, the 15, or the 11. Going to go for the 14. Good choice. It's closest to a rail. Manages that shot as well. Lined up on the 11 now. Doing great. Cleaning up the table. All that's left between him and the 8 ball is the 15. And doesn't manage to get the 15 in. Slightly off on that angle. Good run, though. Jason's got the 6 and the 5 still on the table, both with no real obstacles to putting them in the pockets. Just a matter of deciding which way he wants to run them off the table. Marking up pocket for the 8 ball now. And manages that with good speed on the cue ball to avoid the scratch. That'll make the score 1-0 with 4 innings in that match. Reset the innings between matches here so we can just kind of see how many innings each rack takes. Oh, 1 in on the break again. In the bottom right corner there, looked like the 3 ball went. I'll give Jason solids again this rack. Oh, just kind of hung there in the pocket on the 7. Yeah, waving back and forth at the pool cue is due to a fly and not trying to do anything else there. Fly over the table. Pedro gets the 15 into the side. Got lots of options for shots here. 10 and the 14 looking like his best. Well, the bump against the 10 wasn't the best thing, or the 12 into the cluster there. I would probably shoot at the 11 up into the corner. This. Like Pedro's going to go for that 13 ball. Hits it. Does not get an angle to put it anywhere. Does get it away from the cluster. Jason looking over his options there. Goes for the one ball on the side. He's going to try and bank the 5 ball. A little too much angle on that. Bring Pedro back to the table. I don't think that was the angle he was trying for. Like he was trying to get that up in the corner. Just misjudged the angle. First shot. Jason's going to try and move this 4 and 6 probably. He does have a tendency to really take his time, move around the table, really plan out what he's going to do. Decides to change his mind and go for the 7. Don't think he wanted to be wrestling up against the 5 there. Goes for a legal hit on the 5, a defensive shot. Pedro puts in the 11 in the corner. You could go for the 4 or the 10 up into the same corner, the 12 to get it out of that cluster. 13 in the side, possible. Going for the 10. Manages that shot. Gives him a much better lineup on the 13 here. A little bit worried about bumping the 8 ball with that angle. Gets the 13, manages not to put in the 8. Well, he's got 2 balls that are trouble balls now. 12 clustered up with the 4 and the 6, and the 9 up on the rail. Going to get a timeout from his team captain, Joe. Joe goes for a defensive shot on the 9. Probably wanted to move it off that rail if he could. Unfortunately, it stayed. Jason also takes himself a defensive shot. Manages to move the 2 off the rail with it, leaving Pedro with not much more to shoot at than the 14 there. Excuse me, the 12. Oh, legal hit. I believe he put the 4 into the upper corner, though. Jason just needs to get this 2 in a way that gets him onto the 6. Goes for the bank. Runs out of gas just before the pocket, unfortunately. Put Pedro back up at the table. 14 looks like it's going to clear that 6. He's going to give that a shot. 9 is still up against that rail. Not frozen to the rail, but Joe gives Pedro his second timeout. I think he's advising him to kick at the 9. Unfortunately, misses. I'll give ball in hand to Jason. Line up on this 6 here. Puts enough draw on it to come back out for the 2. Pretty natural shot to get shape on the 8 as long as it doesn't scratch. And he manages the 8 ball. That'll make the score 2-0. Jason's favor. Pedro does only need 2, but Jason does need 5. So Jason's still looking for 3 more racks. Another ball in off of the break. Bit of a cluster there to work through, but not too bad. Once more, Jason with solids. Slightly off angle on that. he was trying to get so he could squeeze that 6 between the 12 and the 3 for the corner. Pedro lines up on the 15 ball. Nice shot into the corner there. Try for the 13 as well. Misjudges the angle on that. Looked like he kind of popped up on his shot as well. Didn't stay down. Jason's lined up on the 6 ball. Not get it into the upper corner. All right. Like the 14 there that Pedro got in. Lined up on the 13 now. Again, not quite the right angle for that. Does not give Jason much to shoot at with this. Looks to me like Jason's probably going to have to take a defensive shot or kick at something. Hit that one ball. Takes it off the rail. Cue ball down where Pedro does not have much of a shot. Joe comes to give Pedro a timeout. First to the rack. Big shot at the 11 here. Good shot. Did not think it had the angle for that, but he manages the 11 up into the corner. Still got the 10 ball in there in the cluster that he's going to have to deal with at some point. And try for the 12 in the upper right corner. Misjudge the angle a little bit. Jason's going to come on up to the table. Try and get that 2 into the right corner. Yep, no problem. Don't think he likes the angle on this 6 though. He's just going for the defensive shot. Well done. Parks it right up against the 4 there. Pedro can hit either the 12 or the 10, looks like, but the odds of him being able to put those in a pocket, not so great. Joe's going to come up and give Pedro his second timeout for this rack. Advising him to kick instead of just taking the shot the way he was lined up. That kick looks like it's going to require a bridge, though, for Pedro. He manages to hit the 13 with that kick. Actually works out to be a decent defensive shot. Leaves Jason lined up with the one ball, though. He's going to go for the 6 this time. Finally going to have to make something happen with that 4 ball. Gets a legal hit by having the 10 bump to 12. Pedro just kind of fired away on that one. Managed to put the 10 up against the 4. After Jason finally had those cleared out with nothing in the way. Definitely trying to figure out how he gets that 3 ball out of the situation it's in now. And manages to clear it back out with another defensive shot. Pedro comes up, puts in the 12, no problem. And then the 13 and the 10 all look makeable as you approach this run correctly. 9 in. $13 in as well. Oh, 13 hung in the pocket. Jason puts some draw on this shot on the 4 to come back for the 3. 3 into the corner, no problem. Marks up the right corner there for the 8 ball. And just eases it on into the pocket. After 6 innings, that's going to make it 3-0. Getting ready to start rack 4. Dry break this time. And bring Pedro to the table with the options he could possibly want. From here, the 13 looks like one of the easier shots. The 3 as well. Like he's going to opt for the 3. Manages the 3 ball into the side. Six ball into the corner, but bumps the 1 away from the pocket it was sitting in front of. Puts it up on the rail. Pedro looks like he wants to deal with that now. Unfortunately, scratches. All right, lines up. Looks like he's lined up on the 9. Did not make it in the pocket after ball in hand. Pedro looks like he's lined up for the 4. Doesn't quite get the angle. Just puts the 10 in with quite a bit of draw on it. Ends up for the 11 for the side. Makes that ball no problem. Nine is next on his lineup. Again, no problem. Kind of working his way around the table. 13 next. Oh, don't think he wanted to be behind the 7 here. Don't think he wanted to come back that far. Pretty sure the 15 was his next choice. Looks like he's got the ability to hit the 12 in. Doesn't get the angle right on that. Pedro's back up to the table. Lined up on the 2. Manages the 2 into the corner this time. Puts him onto the 5. Well, you could go for the 4 and try and move it away from the 12, or just go ahead and try and pocket the 1 here. Possibly move the 7. Looks like he's lined up for the 1. No problem. Not a great angle to put the 7 anywhere. Joe's going to come up for a timeout. Not a great angle to get the 4 either and get it away from the 12. Like we're going for a defensive shot. Yeah, pretty hard hit for a defensive shot. Must have been trying to go for this bank on the 7, which almost went. Would not have had a lineup on the 4 afterwards, but the 7, a little more oomph would have gone. Jason takes the defensive shot, tries to put the cue ball where 7 and the 4 are not very accessible. Looks like Pedro thinks he can get on that 7 though. Sure thing. And just to get the 7 into the corner. However, the cue ball traveled just enough to keep him from having an easy shot on the 4. Pedro's going to go ahead and kick at it. Hit the 12 first. Calls himself on it. Always good to see when someone is willing to call themselves for the foul before anyone else points it out. Goes ahead and lines up on the 14 for the side pocket. Oh, changes his mind. And it takes some time to plan this out. Decides to go for the 14 in the corner instead. Looks like he's looking at the 12 as his next ball. Manages to get lined up there. Does not get the 12 into the corner there. Kind of rattles and hangs in. And leave Pedro with either a very sharp cut or a bank. I think he's going to go for the sharp cut. Manages the shot. I'm going to give him another long cut shot in order to try and get the 8 up into the corner. Nope, he marks up the side pocket. He's going to go for the bank. And puts it away. Going to put Pedro on the scoreboard finally. Score will be 3-1. Jason still needs 2. Pedro, being a skill level 3, is now on the hill and only needing 1 more rack. Pedro manages to get a ball in right off of the break. Like it was a 12 ball. The stripes are fairly clustered together against everything else, though, so this will be a bit of work. Got the 15 is a fairly clear shot, but really close to the ball. Puts a bit of draw on that. Does not manage to get the angle. Bring Jason to the table. Lots of solids, but not a lot of good options for where he's going to go with them. Might be able to get past the 2 to the 5. To 2. Into the side, possibly. Like he's going to get himself a defensive shot on the 3. And move it off the rail. Oh, nicely done. Although it looks like Pedro might be able to squeeze between the 13 and the 9 for the 15 up there. He decides to go for this cluster down there in the corner. Does not leave Jason with much to shoot at. Jason goes for the shot on the 6. Almost puts it in. Pedro tried to get 15 down to the corner. Didn't really have a good shot to take. Did the best he could with what he had. Did manage to put the cue ball somewhere where Jason doesn't have a lot of choices again. It was for the legal hit off of the 7, defensive shot. Oh, Pedro scratches off of that shot on the 10. Does manage to get it in front of the pocket for the next time he gets a chance at the table. Looks like Jason's wanting to move some things around so he has better options. Don't think that 4 will go by anything to get to a pocket. Does get a legal shot and leaves Pedro without much to shoot at. Good defensive play. Pedro takes a defensive shot as well. One does leave Jason with a couple of balls to shoot at, the 1 or the 2. Takes his aim at the 1 and bounces it off the 8, unfortunately. Like Pedro's lined up on the 9. Managed to get it cleanly in past the 13. So 13 into the quarter, manages it as well. Options here, the 14-15 combo or the 11. Looks like he's going for the 11. Gets that as well. Kind of gone for the 14-15 combo just to break it up, even if it didn't go. You get the 10 in the side. He is going to go for that 14-15 cluster and break it up at this point, though. Hit the 14 a little thicker than you needed to in order to get it broken up. Would have had a better angle on it, I think, if you'd have tried for a little thinner on the 14, though it might not have had the speed to get to the corner. Jason's looking at still having 7 balls on the table. I think he's going to try for this 3 ball. Makes it. Defensive shot. Puts the cue ball right behind the 2, where he does not. Pedro does not have an angle on any of his 3 balls left on the table. Gonna have to make a kick. Manages the kick and hits the 14. Puts it up against the short rail. And moves the 8 ball to the other side of the table. Jason misses the 7 ball. Slightly misjudged the angle there. Like Pedro's going to try for the 15 side. Gets it. Pretty good cue ball control for the 10 into the other side. Although, not sure how he's going to get down onto the 14 with this shot. It's the 10. Gonna have to reach over the 5 to shoot at the 14, which is against the rail. Well, he manages to hit the 14 and move it off the rail. Bring Jason back up to the table. Takes the 6 out. Lines up on the 1. Manages that. Four balls to go. They're all in fairly good position in order to run out. If Jason can just keep running them into the pockets. Bumps the 4 on that hit. And bring Pedro up. Got a pretty good cut to try and get the 14 into that corner. Definitely a doable shot, but not the easiest. Oh, missed it, but came back and hit it with a kick off of the side rail. Jason puts 4 in with a little bit of follow to line up on the 7. Seven into the corner. Question is he going to go after the 2 or the 5 from here? If it were me, I'd be trying to get the 5. I wouldn't do a very good job of trying to put the 2 in. Jason could probably attempt to put the 2 in a bank shot. And he's going to go for the 5 first. I went for the defensive shot, but the cue ball. I think you want to be closer to the rail and a little bit more behind the cue ball for that shot. Like Pedro can get past the 8 ball without too much trouble. Pretty steep cut for that 14 to the corner, though. Yep. Did not go. Looks like Jason can get by the 14 for the 5. Oh, went for the 2 instead. Defensive shot. Pedro's got a long shot on the 14 up in the corner. Does not make it. Almost rests the 14 up against the 8. Another defensive shot for Jason. Pedro manages to get the 14 away from the 8 ball for a legal hit. Another defensive shot on his end. Jason gets the 5, lines himself up on the 2. Gets the 2. Marks up the lower right corner pocket for the 8 ball. Oh, catches the corner of the side pocket there. With Pedro with a Not super easy shot on the 14 in the corner, but definitely a makeable shot. And he makes it. The ball comes back down. Lines him up for the same exact corner. And Pedro makes the 8-ball. That's going to give him the win for this matchup. Thanks to the handicap. Thanks, everybody. Please remember to share, like, and subscribe.